Hi, welcome to Prime Recap. The prototype of a top-secret robot is found by a girl and begins to pursue her, protecting her from bullies and other androids who do everything they can to take him back to his creator. Today we will recap the story of the 2018 movie, Next Gen. When she was little, young Mai and her mother were abandoned by her father. Thanks to this, the girl grew up with a lot of problems to control her anger and mainly, with an extreme hatred for all robots, since her mother has always loved the machines and enjoys spending time with them more than with her own daughter. Already in her early teens, Mai is taken by her mother Molly to the headquarters, where the launch event for Gen 6, a new model of domestic robot that promises to be totally revolutionary, will take place. Hating machines, the girl finds the place completely boring until she sees a soccer stadium inside the building. Impressed, Mai asks to go down and observe the field more closely, but since Molly ignores her, she decides to go even without authorization, going down the escalator while everyone else is going up. Noticing the girl's movement, one of the auxiliary drones recommends that she climb the stairs like everyone else, but the girl ignores him and mounts the flying robot, using it as a support to watch the field with a privileged view. Since it was not made to carry that much weight, the android has a system crash and starts falling through the building, using all the power of its propellers to slow down the fall. Because of this, Maya is hardly hurt on impact, but we cannot say the same for the robot that loses its arms and becomes extremely disoriented. As soon as it sees the girl on the floor, another security android appears and says that the children must be accompanied, asking her to follow him to the waiting room until they find Molly, but Mai refuses and starts running from the robots, entering the pipe from which the vacuum cleaners come out. The girl thinks she is safe when suddenly a gap opens underneath her, causing her to slide through all the building's piping until she falls into the secret laboratory of Dr. Tanner Rice, the scientist responsible for developing all the company's Q-bots, including Project 77, a new model he has been secretly developing for years. As soon as the man leaves the lab, Mai approaches the prototype quite curious and decides to touch its arm, knocking over the robotic limb and activating the claws responsible for assembling the android, causing her backpack to fall. When it is fully assembled, Project 77 is very friendly to the girl and tries to hold her hand, but Mai does not seem interested in making friends and starts insulting the robot, calling him an idiot and ironically asking if he thinks they will become best friends and live a journey together. Not understanding the sarcasm, the android cannot interpret it and accepts the invitation, making the girl find it even more bizarre. At that very moment, one of those police robots appears and takes her away, saying that she is not allowed to stay there, carrying her to her mother and leaving the backpack behind. In the conference room, QI Robotics President Justin Pin begins his presentation and demonstrates to the audience the capabilities of his new Gen 6, as well as giving a unit to everyone in the audience, leaving everyone extremely elated. After leaving the stage, Justin signs a few autographs and then takes his robot to meet with Dr. Rice, who says that the Gen 6 is not ready yet and asks them to delay the release, but Pin insists that his creation is perfect, and that since he has already distributed thousands of units, he couldn't do this even if he wanted to. Quite worried, Dr. Rice starts walking towards his office when one of those drones appears and says Project 77 has escaped from the secret laboratory. In the main lobby, the robot has Mai's backpack and is trying to locate her to return it, finding the girl getting into the family car. At this moment, one of the police androids appears and tells him that he is not allowed to be outside, asking him to come in while holding his arm, but Project 77 does not seem willing to listen and cuts the security guard's body with a single blow of his laser sword. Chasing Molly's car along the highway, the android is spotted by the security cameras and the entire city police patrol is activated to stop him, but they can do nothing against the mega overpowered robot and are easily left behind when he uses boost to gain distance and lasers to damage the surrounding cars, causing a huge traffic jam that closes the road. Even so, the drones continue in pursuit and decide to open fire, firing several shots at the prototype's body, which does not suffer any damage, but even so it decides to strike back and turns its hand into a type of Green Lantern's rifle, spitting out greenish lasers that explode the drones with extreme ease. With the failure of yet another unit, the security department sends two huge vehicles full of androids equipped with guided missiles, firing hundreds of projectiles and destroying part of the highway, knocking the robot and his backpack down hundreds of meters. After the crash, Project 77 begins to analyze its components and realizes that its HD has been completely damaged, leaving only the system memory to store all its instructions and memories. Because of this, it has only 72 more hours of memory to save before it is completely full and starts crashing. Knowing this, the robot throws away his HD and continues his mission to return the backpack to Mai, deciding to go to her school to try to deliver the object. At school, the girl gets out of a rather boring class and decides to go to the playground to practice her aim, but she ends up hitting a kick with curve that hits Ani, a very strange classmate and passionate about physics. While they are talking, the soccer team arrives on the field and Greenwood pushes the girls, asking why they are in her area and talking about the fact that Mai's father has abandoned her, which ends up triggering an angry outburst in the girl, who kicks the ball with all her might right in her rival's face. To get revenge, Greenwood orders her Q-bots to go to her and hold her down, leaving Mai immobilized while she returns the ball with several punches. Sometime later, the purple-haired girl wakes up from fainting and bandages her face, walking home while being chased by Project 77. On the highway, one of the QI robotics drones goes to the accident site at Dr. Raya's request and finds the secret prototype HD, notifying the scientist of the possible memory problem. At Mai's house, the robot finally catches up with her and passes through the front gate, alerting Momo, the family bulldog, who runs outside to bark and advance on the intruder. Hearing the mess, the girl goes out to investigate and is surprised to find the prototype with the backpack in her house. Finding the situation very strange, the girl asks the robot to leave and walks back inside, but at that very moment, a super technological electric toothbrush jumps out of the window and begins to attack her, trying to brush the girl's teeth by force. Mai does everything she can to defend herself and literally starts exchanging punches with the device, but the fight is quickly broken up by Project 77, which incinerates the other robot with its laser weapon. Realizing the android's ability, the girl decides she can use him to her advantage and introduces him to her garage, inviting him to live in the place as long as he agrees to help her with one thing. Without having any idea what she is up to, the robot starts configuring his system and deletes some memories to avoid crashing, managing 51 hours until its storage is full. In Robotics IQ, Justin learns about the incident on the highway and orders one of his robots to bring Dr. Rice to ask about it, and asks him to focus entirely on Gen 6 until there is one in every house on the planet, revealing that when this happens, they will turn the robots into kamikazes that will blow everyone up. At school, Mai arrives at the playground and challenges the bullies, causing Greenwood to once again use the Q-bots to try to immobilize her, but the prototype does not allow the other robots to touch her and holds one of them by the head, launching it into the air and blasting it with its plasma cannon. Frightened, Greenwood and his colleagues run in fear while Mai celebrates with Project 77, saying that they are just getting started and that there are still many more robots to destroy. That's right, guys, she will take advantage of his abilities to eliminate all the androids she encounters. Unaware of her companion's memory problems, Mai continues to spend her days destroying various robots and creating countless memories, but this makes the process of choosing memories increasingly difficult for 77, who, with his storage almost full, receives a security alert right in front of Mai, making the girl realize that something is wrong and forcing him to reveal about his problem with memories. With 18 hours left, the girl suggests that he try to delete some strange icons, but the robot replies that these are part of his system and that he would lose functionality. Realizing her friend's problem, Mai offers to help and decides to erase the memory of their first meeting, saying that they will create much better memories with the space she frees up. At the QI robotics base, Dr. Rice wakes up completely gagged and realizes that Justin has found numerous footage of his Q-bot eliminating another robot in cold blood. Furious, the businessman says he will eliminate him and sends a Gen 6 to blow itself up next to the scientist, but since he says he can find the creature and bring it to his side, Justin decides to give him another chance and spares Tanner's life, ordering him to locate the prototype immediately. To this end, Dr. Rice goes to his laboratory and begins to analyze the security cameras, finding Mai in the recordings of all incidents. Assuming she has a Gen 6 at home, it activates an alert on all her units that send out a locator signal as soon as they spot the prototype. Unaware that he is being hunted, the robot wakes up early in the morning and flies to Mai's room to invite her to spend the day practicing some sport instead of blowing things up. At school, Ani is walking through the garden when she passes the group of Greenwood who keep bothering her. But Mai comes to her friend's defense and attacks the Q-bots with her baseball bat while her robot friend restrains the bully with a metal semi-sphere. Blinded by hatred, the girl takes the android's arm and activates the plasma cannon to blow up one of the Gen 6 that is trying to escape, running towards the metal structure and hitting a shot while screaming for the prototype to blow up Greenwood. In shock, the robot refuses to use his weapons against a simple girl and decides to free her, lifting the half-sphere while Mai runs after her with her baseball bat. Realizing how badly she has let her rival down, Molly's daughter finally realizes she has crossed the line and decides to stop her attack, letting Greenwood walk away while 77 tries to calm her down. Feeling betrayed, Mai says he refused to help and leaves saying she thought they were friends, spending the night in her room while the android stays in the garage picking out the memories he will erase, but with only 8 hours left and so many memories he wants to keep, he decides to take a drastic measure and deletes the weapon control system from his software, leaving all his weapons disabled until the next reboot. Thinking that this would solve the situation, the robot goes to the girl's room to tell her the news, but finds the place totally empty, with only a few footprints showing the path where she went. Following the tracks, he arrives at the place where Mai and Momo are and shows her a gift he made for her, a kind of projector that creates several luminous beams in the air as an apology. With less than 8 hours until his memory is full, 77 goes to the garage and Mai enters the house, where she finds her mother talking to Dr. Rice about the robot. At Molly's request, the girl asks the android to come to the house and the scientist begins to analyze it, delivering a new hard drive that will fit perfectly, but to install, the software will return the disk exactly to the point where it was created, that is, it will be formatted and will lose the memories of everything that lived with Mai. While they are deciding whether to do this or not, Molly's Gen 6 appears and the scientist begins electrocuting it until it shuts down, revealing that something terrible is about to happen to the Q-bots and that Unit 7723 is the only one that can prevent the end of all humanity. At this point, Justin Pin appears behind them and says that it's all a big joke, pulling the scientist out while everyone watches, but Dr. Rice is brave and tries to confront his partner, saying that this new Justin is just a lunatic who wants to kill people. To eliminate them all, he leaves the room and activates his self-defense robot to deal with them personally, starting a great fight between the two androids, but since he is completely without weapons, 7723 can do nothing to defend himself, only buy time for Molly and the others to escape. But this is not what Mai intends. While her companion is fighting, the girl approaches Justin and begins to hit him. However, she soon realizes that he does not react and just imitates his robot's movement. That is only until he manages to knock out 77. As soon as the mega-tuned android stops, the businessman moves again and tries to capture the girl, but is bitten by Momo and caught by 7723, who crosses the house and runs to the other side to escape. To save her mother, Mai orders them back and the robot 77 obeys, but as soon as they arrive at the place, a police escort approaches and Justin takes Molly hostage. To end the fight, the businessman orders his Q-bots to gather and shoot at the prototype, as well as several teleguided shots, but he manages to escape down the sewer while no one is watching. With things calming down, 7723 tells her that he has erased his weapon control system and therefore cannot use his weapons to try to save her, which makes the girl extremely angry and makes her leave the sewers quite angry. Deciding to find her mother, Mai goes to the robotic QI and invades the building, shooting down all the Gen 6 and police devices completely by herself, but soon 7723 also appears and decides that he will help her, shooting down several robot security guards and tearing off the arm of one of them so that her friend can use it as a baton. Together, the two make a real clean sweep of the robot cops, knocking them all out until none are left standing, paving the way for them to rescue Molly. As they pass through the hallway, the group begins to hear the woman's voice and Momo decides to track her down, guiding them from the android 77's lap. After some time searching, they find Dr. Rice packing his things and begin to confront him, but the man says that this is just a trap and that they can fix everything if they work together. Wanting to bring them up to speed on the plan, Tanner reveals that Justin Pin is just a puppet and the one controlling the consciousness is the colossal robot, meaning that they have been fooled all this time. At that moment, the businessman appears and disintegrates Dr. Raya's body for betraying him, aiming at Mai immediately afterwards, but just as he is about to fire, 7723 jumps in front of the shot and gets into body combat with Justin, falling out the window along with him. Alone with the colossal robot, Mai takes advantage of a drone entering the room and also jumps out the window, using the prototype to glide just as she did on the day of the conference. Down below, 7723 arrives in the middle of the soccer field along with Justin, who is extremely applauded by the crowd, but the android ends the moment by hitting a big punch that sends the businessman flying into the goal. At this moment, the robot that controls Justin appears and they begin to fight, but since it has no weapon, 77 is at a great disadvantage and is easily repelled by the enemy's cannon punch, forcing him to use his thrusters to prevent the audience from being hit. On the other side of the stadium, Mai lands softly and runs to where her mother is, finding her in the broadcasting room completely gagged. Outside, Justin sees the girl entering the place and decides to go after her, giving his villain speech thinking that no one is listening to him, but Mai is using one of the stadium cameras to broadcast everything he says, warning everyone about the dangers of the Q-bots. Inside the soccer field, 7723 continues to fight Justin's robot, which, despite being much larger and having numerous weapons, suffers a real beating and takes a peck that disconnects him from his puppet momentarily. Taking advantage of the gap, Mai kicks the businessman in the face and starts hitting numerous pecks until she makes Justin's eye fall out, finally convincing everyone that he is also a robot. With his disguise blown, the android shifter reveals that he killed the real Justin Pin and started using his body as a puppet, taking advantage of all the structure that the millionaire already had to create dozens of robots and blow up humanity, beginning a new machine age. Taking advantage that he is busy with his villain speech, Mai slowly approaches and tries to grab the disintegrator ray, but the moment she tries to touch the object, Justin kicks her away and takes the gun, pointing it in the girl's direction. At that moment, Molly comes flying at the villain and starts punching him like there is no tomorrow, telling him never to touch her daughter again. Since he no longer needs a puppet, the robot decides to leave Justin's body behind and locks all the exit gates to the stadium, activating the Gen 6 bomb mode and causing explosions throughout the stands, leaving everyone trapped. In the field, 7723 manages to get out from under the robot's bodywork and uses his thrusters to dodge the explosions, as well as covering his body with an extra anti-ballistic layer. In the broadcasting room, Mai calls her mother and together they run to the stands, where they help people get rid of the prototype bombs. With her soccer skills, the girl manages to kick numerous Gen 6s away and guides the crowd to Gate 1, which is about to close, but Momo stops with his head right in the middle of the way, stopping the gates and allowing them to exit safely. But when it's Mai's turn, Justin shows up just in time and takes her hostage. On the already totally destroyed field, 7723 is getting a draw when the mega robot decides to cheat, wearing super heavy armor that comes flying at him. Now that he has practically become a Megazord, Justin decides to use his Tesla beam to hurl 77 out of the stadium, going after him only to continue humiliating him with all his new weapons. To escape, 7723 activates his thrusters at full power and tries to run away, but is easily caught and trampled by the metal Hulk. At the top of the stadium, Justin is guiding Mai when Greenwood shows up to try to save her, but ends up making things worse when she hits a ball into the puppet, causing them both to fall to the stadium. To save his friend from free fall, 7723 activates her HD and performs a total system reconfiguration, erasing all his memories to unlock the weapons and help the girl. Almost instantly, the android's weapons come back online and he uses his laser sword to cut off one of the robot's arms, using his thrusters to fly to Mai and catch her in midair, saving her from certain death. Surrounded by thousands of Q-bots, 7723 uses spinning plasma beams to slice through all the exploding robots at once, foiling Justin's entire plan. However, the mutant Megazord is still standing and goes all out on both of them, causing a huge impact wave when they collide. With the enemy on the ground, Justin's robot fires numerous homing missiles and 7723 flies away while exploding the projectiles with his plasma. Even though it is much smaller, Mai's android manages to defend itself extremely well and flies off into the stratosphere, where its final great battle begins. Away from the humans, 7723 draws his laser sword and cuts the antennas that fire the Tesla beams, taking out one of the enemy's most powerful weapons. As if that were not enough, he melts the head of the tuned robot with his plasma beam and rips off one of its shields, using it to remove the rival's armor and throw it back into the city, firing every weapon in his arsenal and causing a lot of damage. On the ground, 7723 is about to launch its coup de grace when the reconfiguration is completed and its memory initialized, disabling it at the worst possible moment. Realizing that he has stopped, Mai approaches him and asks him to come back while apologizing for everything that happened, but while she is talking to her former friend, Justin reappears all crooked, advancing towards 7723 with his disintegrator gun. Even knowing she won't be able to do anything against him, Mai advances towards the enemy and takes a moment of distraction to get out of the way, letting Justin approach the android's carcass. But just as he is about to disintegrate the prototype 77's core, Momo bites the villain's feet and the purple-haired girl takes the opportunity to hit the robot's head with a big shot, tearing its visor off and shutting down the puppet almost instantly. With everything over, Mai approaches and hugs him while asking that her former friend not die, but he gives no sign of life. However, a few seconds later, 7723 awakens with his memory completely reset and becomes quite interested in meeting Mai again, but this time with much less hatred and without destroying any robots. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.